Welcome back to the Rich Pod, which is available on all major podcast platforms. Please like, subscribe to us on YouTube and follow us on every platform at the Rich Pod and share to help us grow.
All right, let's go. Rich Pod, Father and Son, episode 4. Here we go. The intro for all those who've been waiting for it.
The greatest intro known to man.
Thank you for the recognition.
Y'all probably heard our new intro to the intro. New the new graphic I made. But my dad got to keep his patented all right going. So couldn't leave that out.
It's what people want to hear. I heard it firsthand. So let's go. Let's get it. A lot to talk about.
Yeah. I think another NBA focused episode. It's kind of hard to do football focus with NFL in this most dead time of the year. Like the time right before all the training camps starting and stuff. But we're gonna get y'all some football content soon. We had a little sprinkled in last episode, but so far it's just not much to talk about with football.
Nah, but it's a lot of basketball. So
we did have a special request. We did have a special request. Somebody wanted us to talk about the Chris Paul trade to the Warriors.
Chris Paul, Hall of Famer, I believe. Great point guard. I really think that that trade is going to help him. I really feel like as I was reading something and they start talking about how he's been an enemy and now he's going to, friends. But that's growth. I mean, you look at a lot of sometimes the older players where you had Peyton and Malone teaming up in LA, trying to get a championship that year. And some more I can't think about. I mean, but Chris Paul needs a ring. I mean, I'm not saying that, I'm the biggest Chris Paul fan, but I enjoy him. I think he does a lot community-wise and all that. And he deserves a ring, So I think Golden State gives him a good chance because of the history there, the players there. And, he doesn't have to be Chris Paul, the starting point guard, 10 assists, 16 points. He can come and make an impact. He can play a role that's going to impact that team. So I like it. I mean, do I like that they gave up Jordan Poole? Yeah. Apparently it was more to it than we know because Jordan Poole, I mean, he had the huge contract, but we talking, how old is Poole? I don't know.
Probably like 24, 25. He can't be no much older than that.
Chris Paul's what, 38?
Probably like 40. No,
I think you exaggerated. But so we talking youth, we talking I seen something Curry post like, point guard of the future or something. So I think Golden State might have went into a win now mode and they just taking their chances.
Yeah. We did just jump right into it. Guess we could have did a little more intro stuff. Thank everybody for listening and stuff. Following us, keep following us, subscribing. But I'm not mad at the jumping right into it, but hey, just wanted to get the thanks out, for the support we do get.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, as we continue to grow. Share, tell your friend, tell a friend, be a friend. So Pat McAfee says. Small shout out to Pat McAfee. but yeah, please keep sharing all that. To this this episode is really gonna be a little short free agency, a little recap of everything that went down in free agency so far. So I think we could start. Almost $2 billion were spent so far in free agency. They're like at 1.9 billion. That's a lot of money being thrown around.
I'm not mad at anybody, get your money, get your bread, get that because as we all know, the owners, the NBA itself, that's minute compared to what they bring in for, sponsorship, trademarks, all that stuff, international things. So, but that is a lot. I think I seen something recently where, of course, we know endorsements and all that, but I think Michael Jordan's total earnings, playing was what, 90 something million?
Yeah, I saw that.
Wow. And when you say wow, when you look at it and you have some players, but I mean, the game has evolved, money has evolved. I mean, team worth, just everything has the international reach, like I just said, has evolved. So I'm
Better
not
players
mad at
too.
them.
Way better players than back in Jordan's days.
Excuse,
Why are you
excuse
so
me.
confused?
You said what?
Way
Way
better
better play.
players. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Look
So
at
you
somebody
saying
like John Stockton. He was one of y'all best players back then. He couldn't play today. They run whoever
what?
offense on him. Too little.
What? Oh, he too little?
That's probably not the best example, but I'm just trying to think. I don't think John Stockton, he wouldn't be as good as he was back then now.
One of the all-time greatest leaders in assists.
Yeah.
One of
That's
the pick
I didn't
and
say nothing
roll.
about his assist.
One of the greatest, a great shooter as well.
He would
When you
have a
talk
role,
about,
but he wouldn't be as prominent as he was in the 90s.
wow, okay.
What's that
So
dude name? Is losing me. The dude where Shaq dunked on him, put his and then pushed him down. What's
Chris
that guy?
Dudley,
Yeah, he could play today.
what's the difference from Chris Dudley than an Alex Lynn or
No,
Bo? I'm just saying some of
Bobo
these.
just got cut.
Oh, well, I'm just naming some players that I'm not saying they're bad players. I'm just saying that they are not like the star, the marquee names. If you want to mention Chris Dudley, he was productive. I'm not saying he was great. I mean, but he's no different than some of the other players. But we won't argue that old school, new school
I'm
narrative
just
again
saying.
because
I just look at some of the stars from your day. They'll be like solid players now.
you name Michael Jordan.
The
Who
game is just
who
to a whole different level.
who compares to Shaq?
Shaq is a once in a lifetime like human, so that's not fair. There's not
Oh,
too many
really?
humans like Shaq.
Hakeem Olajuwon, the dream. I'm
It's
just
not Shaq.
naming
He
big
couldn't
man.
move as well, like laterally, moving, running down the court, dribbling like Shaq though.
Oh yeah, you're right. 2 championships and all these other multi awards.
What
They
they
don't
got to do
mean
with his
nothing.
athleticism? He had the best
You
footwork ever, but I'm saying like just Shaq grabbing, like Giannis, Shaq and Giannis. There's not; those are probably the only two humans on the earth that big that can move like that.
I disagree.
Hey, I'm just saying.
I, I just my thing is we're in a different generation now. So it's different players, it's different everything. But I think your broad statement of the players are better now, that's what's justifying the contracts is it's not right.
They also
So
bring in way more money though. So
okay, that's a point. So let's just throw a name out there. To just sign Desmond Bain, Anthony Edwards. I'm just naming
those are
all of
good
these.
players. Desmond Bain, he deserved the contract he get. If he hit
Desmond
the
Bain,
open market, he probably wouldn't have made as much. But since he stayed with his team, he made that. I'm not mad at Desmond Bain getting 200 million because he's good at what he do. He's a knockdown shooter and he plays defense.
I'm not mad at anybody who gets money, but what I am going to reiterate again, your comment that better players now is why they're getting the contracts. So you
Desmond
want to
Bain wouldn't have
say,
been good back in the 90s,
unfortunately, not.
80s, whatever.
I mean, you kind of contradicted yourself here, partner, because you
What?
talking about Stockton was too small. Is Desmond Bain
Bain,
6'8"?
Bane's like 6'4" and he's built like a linebacker though. Stockton was
but he's
was
playing
six
basketball.
one, built like a pool boy.
Yeah, but that short pool boy sure put out a lot of
He
assists
sure did.
and
He's one of the
and
greatest
and
players of all time. But I'm just
and
saying he probably
reached
wouldn't
NBA
translate.
finals.
He ain't win nothing
That's
though.
we can go down a list of players. We're gonna do that for an episode. Go down a list of players from the past generation, list of players from the new generation to make comparisons.
Okay.
Old school will win. But
All
let's
right.
go.
All right. So let's hit free agency because
Yeah,
that's I just don't agree with you there at all. So the
agree to
biggest contract
disagree.
handed out. Who do you think it is? Just if you could remember some of the news I was sending you, the biggest contract handed out. These two names for the two biggest contracts given out is gonna make you laugh. But it shows you how weak this class was. Free agency class.
Who?
Jeremy Grant and Fred Van Fleet.
Oh, I forgot about that. Now, let me throw a caveat here. Fred Van Fleet, he's a champion already.
Yep.
He came from undrafted. He bet on himself. He worked his way up. I'm not mad at him because let's just be honest here. If you're looking at him getting 130 million or whatever the case, when he's proven versus somebody else getting 200 million that haven't won, haven't did anything, I'm not mad at Fred VanVleet. I
wasn't
mean,
wasn't Bane just 6 man of the year? Or am I tripping?
was he?
I think he was. What is your
Well, would
problem
be.
with Bane getting that much?
I don't have
Desmond Bane.
problem. No, see, you taking it like that. I said we're talking Fred VanVleet getting 130
So why is
million.
he not worth 20 million? That's better.
Who?
If you were starting a team, who would you rather have, Van Fleet or Desmond Bane?
VanVleet, of course.
What? Are you serious?
Are you not?
Yeah.
What
What
are you?
is?
Are you?
But Desmond Bane's younger. He could probably still get a little better. Van Fleet's like 30. He's probably hit his peak. He's got his money going out to Houston, knowing they ain't gonna win nothing out there.
Okay, I won't disagree with that. I just want to keep throwing a certain thing out. Maybe you haven't watched the Raptors in the past few years from 18, 19. And I know they had Kawhi that year.
That's
Let's
the only
just
reason
be
they
honest.
won.
Okay,
They had one of the best defenses in playoff history. And they got lucky in the finals, at least. They earned their way in the East. But in the finals, KD popped an Achilles. Clay, I think that was the last game when he tore his ACL. Steph was out there battling him for himself, but you can't take it away from him. But that's another
Please
discussion.
don't. Yes, please don't. They won. They got a championship.
Yeah.
So we can't argue with that. But if to answer your question, if Fred VanVleet and Desmond Bane, I have no knock against Bane. I like his toughness as a player, but we're talking apples and bananas here. We're talking totally different. Fred VanVleet runs a team. He's smart. He has a high basketball IQ. And he can get you not just the point he's clutch, and he just has all around. So
if
I have
he
no
had
problem with it.
he only signed a 3-year deal. If he signed a 5-year deal, it'll probably equal out to 200 million. So their contracts are probably the same. Bane just got a longer length. But I still think Bane is better. What do you guys say about Grant getting 160? We know you're not mad at him for getting his money, but just looking at it from the player and how much money he got.
Well, I mean, that might have been one of the tipping points for Dame, because they spent that on Grant. Like, he probably, might deserve it, but it's like, what's left for everybody else? You want to build. And Grant, is his history. I mean, Grant, they've been on what, about 6 teams? 7
I
teams,
think
which
Grant
don't
was
mean nothing.
I think he was a late second round pick too. So I think he
Okay,
earned
so
or a second round pick. I don't know about late, but I know he was a second round pick. I think. I
so
think.
he earned it. I
Yeah.
mean, we can't. Here's the thing: you can't take away, just like you can't go into retail or restaurant or somebody doing consulting work or anything. You can't tell people what they should be paid. You
Yeah.
can't be in their account. If you just look at it as a whole, you know, I don't know. Is it an overpay? Maybe not. But what
So
leaves?
you think you mentioned Dame? You think that was his tipping point though?
I said it could have been. He might have been wanting to be out for a while. It to me, I don't want to jump subjects, but to me, it's very interesting that a player of his caliber is still on the market.
Dame?
Yeah, I mean, haven't been traded. Old days, you got a player like that, and Harden. I mean, it's like okay, he
No,
wants to
no,
be
no,
traded.
no, no. Don't compare Harden and Dame. Please don't.
Well,
No,
I'm not comparing them. Neither one has won a
no, no.
championship. I will say that, but I'm not comparing them. But I'm just saying, like, that's just shows how the whole NBA has, evolved to the point where you got a star caliber player. It shouldn't be a week after they requested a trade, they still not where they,
I
made a
think it's
trade.
just the if I was Portland and I know you want to be gone, he's not like Bill. He can't really control where he go. He can say where he wants to go, but me having the rights to his contract, I don't have to trade him anywhere. Portland's gonna get the best deal for them. Don't nobody
Yeah.
want Tyler Hero. That's probably the best they can offer in like some picks and pick swaps. And Portland say they want to compete. They're not winning nothing with Tyler Hero, Scoot Henderson, and Jeremy Grant. So they're probably looking for, they said it's probably up to like 5 teams included in the trade. They're trying to get multiple assets to help them win. I wouldn't trade Dame for Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, and some picks. That's not helping me do nothing at all.
I mean, just don't knock Hero
I'm
like
not
that.
knocking Hero, but
I mean, this
he's not
man
moving the
was
needle.
averaging. This man was averaging 20 plus point, and Dame was at what 32 points. I know totally different players,
Yeah,
but
but
we
that's
gotta put an age, just like you said with Bane versus Van Fleet and some of the other ones. I mean, just like me, we're looking at me and you, the age difference. I can't do what some of the stuff you can do. So when you have a player, I mean, Dame is what 33.
yeah,
So I
probably
think if
around there.
we talking, 5, 6 years ago, I think it's a no brainer. But and then he has one of the largest contract. What 200 something million, two
Yeah,
fifty? What does he owe?
I don't know, but he's on a crazy contract. He probably get like 50 a year, somewhere around there. I don't know if it's at 50, but it's somewhere around there.
So whatever teams, like I said, whatever we were talking about, how much they make and all that, they still have to take that in consideration because we know Butler is probably at what 30, 40
And
million.
Bam probably at like 20 something.
So that's kind of like that Phoenix situation where you got a couple players eating up everything. So you make it work. I mean, just like we look at the Bucks. It was just not the switch, but like Middleton opt out and took a more friendly, deal for the team.
Yep.
So my
Hey,
whole thing was I talk
well,
about when people want to win, they will do what they have to do.
so you think if they get Dame, they the top East contender?
No,
You wasn't fooled by their fake finals run last year?
I'm not gonna say it was fake because they worked
I
hard.
am.
You
That
have to
run was fake,
okay, you know, I
extremely
mean,
fake.
they
But
made it, but
look at the look at the difference, right? So I was thinking about the comparison, like Malik Beasley and then Gabe Vincent. Who would you rather have on your team, Malik Beasley or Gabe Vincent?
I think Beasley.
Okay, so Beasley just signed a veteran minimum deal with the Bucks, and Gabe Vincent just signed a $33 million deal. So say Beasley had Gabe Vincent's performance in the playoffs. Do you think he would have got a bigger deal? Is it because he
Yeah.
fell out the rotation? So
Yes,
why do these
exactly.
teams get fooled by these fake playoff runs and give these like regular players these huge contracts? I just don't
Was it really a
understand.
fake playoff run, or did they work
Well,
hard?
I'm talking
They
about from
got
like
hot.
I'm talking about from like Max Struess and Gabe Vincent, who were playing subpar all year into the playoffs game, and then they just flipped the switch. Why do we just immediately reward them for flipping that switch? You know what I mean?
That's what hard work and results do.
Well, I'm not
Now,
knocking what
are they
they
going to go
did.
to their new teams? Are they going to go to their new teams and do it? Who knows? I
Look at,
mean, to me, go ahead.
I was gonna say, look at Deladova. The Bucks signed him to like a $50 million deal after that Cavs run when he was holding Curry, the good defense, and everybody was hyping him up. And look what he did when he came to the Bucks on that 50 million.
I think that's
Absolutely
a bad
nothing.
example.
That's a great
I think
example.
that's a bad
That's a
example.
fake playoff run. A team overreacting to what somebody did. It's the same thing in like the NCAA tournament. Jared Culver, you know who that is?
Who?
Exactly. He was like the number 3 pick. I forgot which draft, but he had a crazy NCAA tournament run. And now I say his name and you have no idea who he is. He's like the number 3 pick, Jared Culver. Why do
Yeah.
teams overreact at little spurts of what a player does based on their whole like outcome? I'm just thinking
Because
like
it's
a
hit
front
or
office
miss.
person.
It's hit or miss. You don't know. How many teams regret what 14 other teams regret not picking Giannis in that draft? It's hit or miss. You just don't know.
I'm
You
trying to think
know?
of a good example where that paid off. Like
Um,
somebody had a crazy run and got Dante. He was his. I know you. I was watching college basketball somewhat then, but he had a crazy. Remember the national championship? He went off for like 30 or something. Bucks drafted him. He turned out to be a solid player. But I'm
yeah.
trying to think of a player that's had a crazy playoff run, got signed for it, and did good. I might just be missing it, but I can't think of any.
But to sum it up, it's hit or miss. You just don't know. I mean, anybody can, just like they can, be superstars on one team, doing all this and then get traded and absolutely nothing.
Yeah,
So I seen something that Draymond said that was so true just today or the other day. And he said Ben Simmons is still the same Ben Simmons.
yeah. So
You know,
he just
his
lost
just
confidence.
his confidence is gone. He don't know, he didn't lose how to, you know, dribble the ball to dunk. I'm not gonna say shoot, but he didn't lose none of that. So he still can dominate and do what he was doing that made him that player. But it's just confidence, and when confidence
That's
is a strong motivator.
that has to be one to they got to like study his case, or is it because of injuries too? His
Yeah,
injuries might lead him to losing confidence though.
yeah. So
But
we
he was
just
just
never know.
yeah, and we never know like what's going on in their personal life and all that too. So
That's another aspect. I'm glad you touched that. Well, we'll touch one day, but as fans and podcasters and announcers or whatever, we just see the game for the game, and we don't see the personal. And because like I was reading a story about, I forgot who it was, and they got traded, and like they said, we're still human. Things
yeah,
happen. You can't put a price tag on life and life circumstances. So yeah, who else we got?
let's talk about your guy Dylan Brooks. Dylan Brooks, 4 years, 80 with the Rockets. It's the new dynamic duo over Van Fleet and Dylan Brooks. Who's stopping that duo?
See, you trying to be funny,
Well, I'm
and
just
I and I
saying.
I really think Houston, Houston to me is kind of like, well, the Bucks, not the Bucks and team, like the Bucks is championship, contenders, but I think Houston with Udoka over there, the pieces. I'm glad they didn't get my guy Brook. They really wanted Brook, but
Yeah.
we needed Brook back. But and some of the choices that they made, of course, but they young. they don't have nothing to lose. They got a good coach. Detroit is going to be some of the same thing with Monty over there. These teams are going to surprise, a lot of teams. Not saying they're going to go from winning 20 games to 50, but I think they're going to be a surprise.
Yeah.
But to answer your question about Dylan, I mean, we'll see how it works out.
I think we got to talk about the Lakers. Everybody's saying the Lakers has won free agency so far.
How?
I think it's because the pieces they brought in and what they were able to, keep. They kept Reeves.
I don't think the Lakers have a salary cap.
Yeah, the Lakers LA teams abide by different rules than everybody else, but Reeves got 4 years, 56. Hachimura got 3 years, 51. Russell 37. They gave Vincent 3 years, 33. Cam Reddish and Jackson Hayes signed for minimums though. But that's pretty good free agency class too.
And you got LeBron and AD that you don't even have to mention what they own. So where's their cap?
I don't know.
Yeah. So they're not done. They probably signed somebody else. But I mean, you can't be mad at them. Look how close they made it to the West Finals when they barely even made the playoffs.
Coach Ham.
Well, yeah, that's a big thing,
And also having LeBron James helps too.
Yeah, so my thing is the pieces that they had, you see what Reeves and Hachimura and all that did for them. So I think they made some, good moves. But we'll just see how it pan out. That's just like with Dame if he go to Miami. That's like Bill in Phoenix and whatever else. We just have to see.
Let's hit another one. So I'm trying to find a surprising one. Oh, we talked about this little Strus. Max Strus got 63 million from the Cavs. Now, come on, Dad. I get you want them to get their money, but it's Max Strus. Is Max Strus worth 63 million?
I mean, the Cavs must have thought so.
They said the Cavs wanted wings, so I guess you got to pay what
they should have went to BW3. Because that's what they gonna get. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
He gonna give them threes, so I guess you technically right there. But they signed Georges Niang for how much? Let me see, for 26 million. Georges Niang and
I don't. Didn't they give up Osman?
See, yeah, Osman? I think they dealt him somewhere. I don't know where though.
He fit them perfect with what they had around.
I guess they wanted a upgrade.
How was that a up? Okay.
I don't know.
We'll see. I mean, we see Yang and Strus. We'll see what they got. I mean, once again, I don't know if Yang, but Strus undrafted had to work his way. Like I said, so you look. I look at them stories as success stories.
Yeah, that's what I say.
Like with Van Fleet. Gabe Vincent and there's hundreds of more out there. I mean, we don't know the grind and the struggle. We see practices, we see that, but just like G League, I think G League was one of the best things the NBA could have did. You have players, the 200 plus players that's in the NBA is not the best. I mean, they are, we say the best, but it's other players. Give them a chance. That's why sometimes all people need is a chance. And
that's why I'm not laughing at like them getting their money, because that's them coming from undrafted, getting cut by teams, working out. That's a crazy success story. I was just laughing at like the team, because I personally don't think they're that valuable, but the front office executives know way more than we'll ever know. So, and how does that affect the Heat?
That's you, not me.
Oh, not you. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
How do you think that affect the team that put us out? Lost Strus, Vincent. See who they brought in. Josh Richardson and Thomas Bryant,
which will help. Those are two kind of like, look at Denver last year. I think they was a blueprint. Them bringing in Brown, who left. He got rewarded,
got his money.
Green, Jeff Green. He might have already been there. Then who else?
What did Jeff Green? Where did he go?
He went to Jeff Green just went to Houston.
Yeah, Houston.
Yeah,
Okay.
Jeff Green went to Houston.
I don't
So
think he don't really got nothing else to prove in his career no more either. Really.
no, he got his championship. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Like we live. If you listen to some of the greats that didn't win, they wish they could have won. So you got these players. I mean, think about even the Bucks, they championship year when they had, like, I know you're gonna laugh, but like Brian Ford, Brent Forbes, when he helped during that Miami series and hit a few shots, it's all about the right fit. And sometimes we just want to plug in somebody that was averaging 30 and all this on another team. If you look at Miami, just like Phoenix, I mean, you have a bunch of scorers in Phoenix, and they help round out they benches and stuff like that. But I'm just going to be so interested in seeing, like, how is that going to work out?
When remember when Love got bought out, we was like not laughing, but like the fact that Miami brought him in, we was like, oh well, who really cares? But look at how much he helped them in their little
Yeah, he
playoff
really
run
did.
too. So
That's why he went back. But Miami, to answer your question, Miami will miss Strus and Vincent. I
yeah,
don't care if, like they said, Tyler Hero was out and all that, but they
they probably got some new
sometimes,
undrafted dudes that's probably gonna come in and do the same thing. That's all they do is produce undrafted talent.
yeah, but they will be missed.
They draft well too. Bam, Tyler Hero, that dude they just drafted this year dropped 22 in like 20 minutes in his first summer league game.
Once again, we don't get overly excited about
Yeah,
summer
I'm just
league
saying.
because didn't the number 2 pick struggle?
I think he ended up turning his game around a little bit in the second, but his first half was rough.
Okay, but I know everybody is waiting for Wimbaya in his debut.
Wimbayama.
I'm
Say it.
shortening it up from Wimbaya.
What's Mike called you, Richard?
I would say thank you.
That's not your last name, though.
I mean, he know what I mean. He knows what I'm talking about.
So let me ask you this, right? Kyrie get traded to the Mavs. Did you think he'll end up resigning with the Mavs when you heard that news?
I don't know what Kyrie is going to do, but
Yeah.
I was surprised he resigned. But I think a lot of people are probably frowning upon it. But due to everything that was going on and push, I think them having that short time at the end together on top of the summer, that's going to be a dangerous duo.
But that end
Luca
of the
and
season
Kyrie.
got weird though, because you remember they started arresting people
Yeah,
and
because they didn't want to
tanking.
give up that 10
Yeah.
pick. Yeah,
Uh,
so that's why I'm saying them with a full slate. They got Powell back. Who else they got? I'm surprised. I guess he fell out. I'm surprised they didn't re-sign Christian Wood. When
they
they gave
said
Wood,
Wood's not drawing much interest.
which is
With
surprising.
yeah, I don't really get that. But
I don't understand. I mean, you talking somebody that's averaged 20 and 10. Off the bench, he averaged a double-double, but we
another
never
person they
know.
earned their way from being excuse me, earned their way from being undrafted.
I don't get it. I would like them back on the Bucks, which they probably ain't gonna do now since they
If they
got,
trade Bobby Portis,
no
I would like
way.
them. I was
No,
just saying
that's
if it hypothetically
if
happened.
not, no. Bobby
Yeah,
ain't going nowhere.
listeners that don't know, Bobby Portis is a huge fan favorite in Milwaukee.
And he's productive. And that new coaching system is going to have him, where he needs to be. So I'm looking forward to that.
So okay, so now let's mention a few deals I thought were bad deals, right? And once again, we're not downplaying anybody getting paid, but just looking from a team aspect, I want to mention a few I thought were terrible deals. Let's start. You know who number one is, right?
No.
Joe Ingles. 2 years, 22 million for a what 37-year-old on one knee.
We know that signing was clearly for direction and locker room. Ingles might
Okay, so
not.
that's Udonis Haslam. That's what you give a minimum contract to, not 11 million.
So my question is, they knew what they were doing. I mean,
Okay.
I'm not saying it's a great, because we know Ingles. I mean, last year he helped a bit, but you got an ACL, you coming back. But
I
I mean,
like Joe Ingles,
yeah,
but
I
I
like
don't
him
think
as
he's
I
worth
like
that.
his trash talk. Well,
Yeah,
I just think he's not, that's a young team. So he's
yeah,
probably gonna be one of those like coach like, you know,
yeah. But do you give those coach like players 22 million?
apparently they wanted to. So then, okay, let me just say that before we move on. Then I know we got a short one, so we'll wrap up soon. But let
Okay.
me ask you this: do you think it was? And I heard, I think Steven Jackson or something I seen talking about it. I think Russ Westbrook got a short end of the stick.
He might have just took that to go back to LA. I know
Yeah,
he probably could have got some more money somewhere because Russ was playing real well in the playoffs and towards the end of the year.
that's what
So
I'm saying.
he
So,
probably just liked that fit. That was probably a perfect fit for him. So guess
all
you gotta
right,
do what you gotta do.
you're right. So, but I'm saying like Ingles, and then you look at that Orlando. Boy, they just got an extension of the coaches. That's what they got, and that's what Ingles signing is. They've got a young team. They just young,
Yeah.
and they just want somebody older in there to help guide them, and that's what Ingles is. What's another one?
Now, I don't know. Maybe they think this guy, he's only 27. Houston giving Jock Londale 4 years, 32 million. That's a relatively cheap contract in today's NBA, but Jock
That guy.
Londale.
Think about Phoenix and how they honestly were more effective when he was in than when
Yeah.
Aiton was in.
I like Jock Londale. I was hoping that he would come to the Bucks on like a minimum, but when I seen he got 32 million, I was like, ain't no
Nah.
way.
Well,
But
he was Houston when they didn't get Lopez. That's who they did, right?
yeah, I'm guessing that
Because
was their backup plan.
he's young, and like I said, look at how effective he was. He was eating into Aiton's minutes.
Yeah.
So
And I still think
that's
Aiden don't even want to be there. Well, Monty Williams is gone now, so they might have reconciled their relationship. But I think him and Monty Williams just didn't like each other. Or it might have
well,
been just Aiden.
we'll see. Because hopefully, we know he has the talent, just needs to live up to it. So who's another one?
Trying to look. Of course, George's Niang. We mentioned that earlier. There's no way I'm giving that dude 26 million, but respect to him for getting it. I'm just looking. It's not much. Not too many bad ones. Oh, Miles Bridges, he did. Did you see he accepted or they're extending the qualifying offer to him? I think.
Yeah, he suspended the first 10 games or so.
Yeah, something like that. But
That's surprising. There was only 10.
it's
Um
because his talent. He's good. So no matter what he do,
Morant good.
yeah, you think they gonna cut John Morant?
Cut him?
Yeah, they can't. He's too good.
Yeah,
Your
that's what
talent
I'm
can
saying.
overlook a lot of things in life, sadly.
Yeah, but he hopefully he learned from this last one, man. I mean, you gotta
Um,
you gotta grow and learn.
I hope he comes back way better. Which he's
You
gonna
will.
come back still good at basketball, of course, but
Well, look at what Memphis did with Derrick Rose. Who
Marcus
else they
Smart,
get?
they brought
Marcus
in
Smart.
Smart.
Yeah, that was the main one. Is they putting people in place like a Smart, like a Derrick Rose, who've been in the league, who can mentor, who can say, "Hey, slow down." Like in the old days, the players, old school used to be like they see the younger players starting with that. Slow down. Come here. Come on, let's talk. You can hang with me. Come live with me. We can do this, but I'm not going to let you go down based on this. So he put those two players right there will make a huge difference. So I think Marcus Smart going there is really going to help that team. They were saying like a Dylan Brooks replacement, but from a leadership aspect, Smart is really going to help them. Boston is really going to miss him.
That's why I was
So
surprised. You seen he was
Boston,
asleep when he got traded.
yeah, his wife woke him up. But
That's so low down. They just be like a
well, they
franchise
promised the
player like
man.
him.
They promised the man a week before he was okay. But like they said, this is business. It's just like any company that want to downsize. You could be there 30 years, and unfortunately, a cut here. and something that cuts into the CEO's huge bonus, and the whole department is gone. So, but that's just the way it is. But Smart, like I said, if you want to look at it like Porzingis, great, scoring if he stay healthy and what he brings, but from a heart, a part what Smart brought to that team, Boston is going to miss that.
Yeah. I think that was a good signing, or not signing, but trade for Memphis though. Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, I
So,
guess we'll probably wrap it up there. It was a quick little free agency recap.
yeah. Talk about it, be about it. And we're gonna see it's not done yet. So next week we'll be able to, get a little more. Maybe these trades with Harden and Dame would be done, and we could just talk about the impact it's gonna have on whatever team. So Rich Pod.
Rich Pod. Make sure y'all follow us on Instagram, Twitter, at the Rich Pod. We're available on mainly every podcast platform at the Rich Pod Father and Son. Like, comment,
All right.
subscribe, follow us. Tell us in the comments something you want to talk about. Tell me, DM us, all that. Anything you want to say to close it
That's
out?
him. Young, old school. We don't DM, so you DM. Let's go. Just say, hey, keep God first, and everything else will follow. Appreciate y'all.
All right, peace.
Peace. See you next week.